Alright, we're back again for the other first game from the Game Corners Elimination Store Championships.
Again, Michael and David.
Yep. So first we have, here on the left is Chris, who was in second place, versus Luke on the right, who was in third. We didn't actually forget to say last time that David was first seed versus Ben at fourth seed.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris is playing Max and Luke is playing ANRNZ.
So Chris's Max is actually fairly notorious. The last regionals we had, he was playing something very similar. So we are familiar with some of the nasty tricks that he's likely to do, but he pilots the deck very well. So even when you know what he's going to do, you're still worried.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting, both of these players here, I think, actually. You've got Chris on the left, who very rarely shows up to any Netrunner events. He went to this store championship. I think he's been at the casual store once between then and the regionals,
Possibly
almost
more
a year
times,
ago.
Yeah. Suffice to say, he's reasonably elusive when it comes to being.
Yeah, he doesn't play as much as the rest of us, but he's still a very good
He has a
player.
very, very good game sense. Yeah.
Yes,
as opposed to Luke, who's we see very frequently.
Yeah, so we see Luke very frequently, and he's previously joked that he's not the best player at this game, and he always loses. But so it was very exciting to see him at third place.
Was indeed. I believe I gave him words akin to, "This is what happens when you don't play Wayland."
Yes, which is what he's previously done in tournaments. Has brought Argus, I believe, or.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't help but be proud, but also sad at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Luke kicks off.
So Luke took a mulligan at the start. I didn't see whether Chris did.
He kicks off with an install.
Install.
Just drawing a card. I believe that might have been the daily business show I
Yes,
saw.
that's true. He didn't have any ice in his hand, so I suspect that he drew one just now with the NEH draw.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's a double install. I'm not sure what the second is. Possibly a Jackson? So I'm not sure.
Or it could be another. I was joking with Chris before that the way he reorders his heap to show the tutor cards is actually illegal by Netrunner rules.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to order your keep yet, but it is a minor infraction because no card actually measures this.
No. So, I don't believe we've seen anything especially noteworthy at this stage thus far. A Yoggis hit the bin as well as a Deja Vu. So, Deja Vu is very standard fare for Max. She's likely to want to recur cards because they get trashed by her ID.
So that was Archangel. It's the ice that's also a trap, but all it does is put a card back to hand. Chris was not worried about that because he has no cards installed.
And jokingly asked if Luke wanted to trigger.
Yeah, so that was actually a Mumba Temple, not a daily business show.
Ah, there we go. That's much better, actually.
Yes.
Mumba Temple free reses the daily business show. Mumba Temple really is absurd. Such a good card.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a bit of clarification around daily business show usage.
So there's two common ways you sort of build an NEH deck. I suppose there's a third way as well. But the two common ways are either pure fast advance, and the other one is asset spam. And the main real difference between these is whether or not you include bio labor to help your fast advance game work.
Mm-hmm.
So in a pure
of course,
asset,
in the past, kill was also very much one of the options
which
on the
is what
table.
I meant by a third option.
Ah, okay, right.
But these days, kill is more commonly done with House of Cord, but it's not unheard of in NEH, so you do have to be careful.
NEH is good, 17 influence.
Yes.
Okay, so that's another install, thus drawing another card, an install on HQ, and a draw.
So the main difference between fast advance and asset spam is that asset spam relies entirely on sense and city grid to get the fast advance started.
Mm-hmm.
If you are just very religious and checking remotes and trash the sense and city grid, it can have quite a hard time.
But once a bionic labor is put into the picture, all of a sudden that becomes quite a lot more difficult.
Yes.
Okay, so we've seen now a second deja vu, which I imagine Chris is not happy about, and a DDoS hit the bin. I believe the DDoS is a pretty reasonable indication that we'll be seeing some something akin to unpleasant events being played.
Yes.
I don't want to spoil anything further, but
well, Siphon Max is a common archetype, so I don't think that's too spoilery. I think if you've seen Max, there's only really 3 archetypes you're worried about, or you're likely to see. So one is the Siphon Max, which sometimes includes Apocalypse, sometimes does not. Apocalypse is pretty nasty against a deck like this, if it's building lots of remotes. Unless they get the hostile infrastructure out, in which case it's a death sentence for the runner. The other one is the common name is Min-Max, but it's just a DLR.
That name is fantastic.
I love that name.
So terrifically good. Wounds me how good it is. But yes. Which is siphons and wanton destructions and keyholes.
Yes.
Is that correct? Is it keyhole or is it DLR?
The Min-Max is fully DLR, so there's no keyhole,
right.
but it is actually common on the other things. So you just have
Sure.
Wireless Net Pavilion, Fall Guy, Joshua B package. At this point, looking at what's in archives, I think Yogg is a hint that it's not Min-Max. But the rest of the cards could indicate it.
The Eater is a strong indicator that we're going to be looking at Siphon, though.
Yes, but because Min-Max also plays Siphon, it could be either.
Yes.
So Imp.
Okay, interesting.
Imp is this strong hint that it is not Min-Max. So I see Min-Max, and we stick about Siphon spam with maybe having Apocalypse. The other option is what's called Red House Max.
Oh, okay, Luke tried to get greedy there and hid an Astro script in plain sight on the table. Chris holding out on it.
Yes.
I adore Luke, but I also do not approve of his hubris, and thus giggle a little at seeing an Astro script naked being pulled off the table.
Yeah. So it's currently in Chris's favour. Losing an Astro script is hard as well.
Emotionally, yeah.
Well, yeah, you're just scoring that. If he's relying entirely on Sense and you're good as an asset spam, then scoring an Astro script just completely saves them of having those Sense.
Pretty major, yeah.
The other option, of course, is you have the team sponsorships installed, and then you can just score a breaking news or a 15 minutes out of hand.
Yeah, almost certainly, given that we are looking at a fair amount of assets here, I imagine that team sponsorship will be in Luke's deck.
Yeah, I think team sponsorship is commonly a staple of both Fast Advance and...
I mean, it's just an extremely good card, and with Indian having access to 2 separate and thus 4 maximum, they can put 4 in their deck, 2-1. It's really rather good. Okay. So more assets being placed on the table. Presumably, I would assume he's not going to try to get greedy again after getting punched the first time, but...
So we've seen Wanton Destruction in the bin as well. I think you would be able to fairly safely say
okay, that's a hostile infrastructure.
yes. The bane of Apocalypse everywhere.
It's going to be Imp, though, summarily, and a wise move by Chris.
So as I was saying, seeing Wanton Destruction and Eater and Imp, I think is a strong indication that this is a Siphon build of Max. Even this is a retrieval run, which is not something you want to lose when you've already lost 2 deja vu in the same old thing.
No. Imagine that Libby may well have to get used earlier than Chris would like.
Yes. We got another good card.
It's a good card. And he's running the last one, just in case it's a San, I believe. That's the one he'd be particularly scared of.
I think that was a paid campaign.
Right.
A very brief look at it.
And he ran an empty Daily Business Show.
Yes.
Pretty important card to get rid of.
Yes.
Difficulty, of course, given that it trashes for 4, you really can only afford to do so when you have an imp to allow you to do it.
It's quite interesting with Daily Business Show because a lot of people look at it and say, you must trash this card. But then people were cutting it for paid campaigns and building the deck.
I mean, money is important.
So Luke is on 0 credits and he's used all his Mimba Temple.
He's on 2 credits for 0 points.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, 2 credits. So that does make him question whether he wants to reset paid campaign.
I think he's going to all the same.
He uses the Mimba, but he doesn't get the money from the paid campaign.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because he waited for them to refresh. I think that was actually me in the corner pointing it out to him.
Yes. Very good of you, Mike. Ensuring that legal game stay. Okay, 2 more answers. And or agendas. Okay, Queen's Gambit on the table. Probably also reasonably sad to lose that Queen's Gambit.
Yes. Queen's Gambit's a fun card.
And hey, clicks for 6 credits. That's lucky fine territory.
Now, this HQ is a pop-up window.
A gloriously hideous pop-up window.
Yes. I believe this is quite a scary moment in the game for Luke. Just in my memory.
Okay, that is... yes.
Saves the ump token.
Seems like a reasonable trashing target. So he ran again.
He ran HQ again. He doesn't mind making Luke rich. I think he's seen that overwhelming asset state. And then he gets a deal.
So, yes, it paid off. Chris is, I think, cleverly making sure to be aggressive regarding HQ because NEH frequently. Oh boy, that's both
6 points. 1 more and he's won the game.
Anyhow, as I was saying, NEH typically accumulates agendas in hand on account of the fact that they're frequently installing assets, thus drawing more cards.
Yeah, you have to run HQ a lot as NEH. If you are flooded as NEH and they don't run your hand, it's the best thing ever. If you they run your hand, it's the worst thing ever. But it's just how powerful the Indian agenda suite is.
Don't you just love it?
Install nicer HQ.
Yep, so that was double install and install nicer HQ.
So this is
another Queen's Gambit.
Accounts. There's a lot of econ cards.
That was a sigh on
There's
Chris's
the
card.
San City Grid.
He says leave it. I'm sure he doesn't want to leave it, but
it is always mildly frustrating playing a deck with imps but without Aesop's full drop.
yeah. That's why I struggle to leave noise. Just the comfort of being able to sell my now defunct cards. It's just so glorious. Fourth week is an install of the same old thing. So interestingly, we have not yet seen a siphon. I'm still calling it, and I don't, I don't feel like it's terribly perceptive to be calling it at this stage. But yeah, I think it's a matter of time before we see it either hit the heap or get played.
It would be frustrating knowing there's a sentence and you get on the table and wait to play siphon.
Indeed. Particularly when NEH had at the time exactly 6 credits. It's an interesting scenario where you might even consider not using Mamba Temple credits.
Yes. I had a game where I did that exact same thing with my Mamba Temple, and it was actually quite frustrating because he chose to access instead Luxac to Future Perfect, and then I had no credits left, so...
Yeah, not worth it. Little did you know.
Little did I know. It was probably my major play mistake of that game.
So
Such a
2
little
more
thing.
installs?
2 more installs. 3 installs.
You can obviously only hazard a guess as to what these cards are at this point.
Yes.
Chris jokes about playing Wanted Destruction against Luke's non-existent HQ. Install the keel. 3 guesses as to what comes next.
Correct.
Okay, so now very cheaply Chris will be able to keep home through Luke's deck. I think very likely, it's a very reasonable assumption at this point that there is a Jackson on the table.
Yes.
So
he decides to just run archives.
I think at this stage, Chris, yes, being the good player that he is, decides to run archives. Which one was it, he asked?
It was me pointing it out because I saw him play it.
Of note, these are the ultra sinister looking Jacksons.
Yes, and they were quite happy to play them because they literally just received them today.
Mm-hmm.
Including this playmat on the left that
was afforded to top 4s, I believe, was it? The playmat?
Yeah, playmat's the top 4 as well as 3 of the Jackson Howards.
That's right.
Top 8 got 2 Jackson Howards. Oh, the other top 8.
Okay.
Chris making a joke about colluding with Luke.
Where's my hand, Luke asked. Great banter, great banter.
It's the great way to bluff out the agendas to not know where you put them.
Indeed, the best way to bluff is to have absolutely no tell because you have absolutely no idea. Okay, business showcase. Okay. So, at this stage, Luke, despite all his hilarious number of assets, it's still a fairly dire situation for him, considering he's still on 0 points and Max is on 6. But of course, NBN, through how powerful their agenda suite, may well be able to pull this back. That being said, 2 extra scripts on the other side of the table, all of a sudden that agenda suite is neutered considerably.
I think 2 range number temple with peg campaign 9 credits versus 6 credits. And only
that's right. Board state.
The board state is massively in Luke's favour at this point.
That's true.
So he discards a Jackson Howard. That's gotta hurt.
Of course, if there is a team sponsorship on the board, which with 7 face down cards, he may well be able to return that.
Good diversified portfolio.
Yes, I think that was a diversified. That would pop up in something
definitely
else.
means we can stop playing coin and say this is an asset spam link.
Mm-hmm. I would, given that there are 11 assets currently on the table, I think I would have set that some time back. Okay, and that's
this is both the Jacksons.
That's nice.
The only option now is interns. Or team sponsorship.
Which I think is more likely. Okay, there we go. That is the team sponsorship. And 2 of them. And with only 2 credits and no imp on the table, I'm sure that Chris is very displeased to see that.
And I'm pointing out the pad. Because he's lost track of his assets, but somehow I've kept up for him.
I mean, ultimately he would have found it eventually, but yeah, really you're just saving time here.
It's quite a long game actually, this one.
Yeah. I believe this occurred simultaneously with the game that I was playing.
Yes.
Yeah, so
you can hear sometimes him talking in the background of yours.
Okay, so that was actually the daily business, yeah?
Yeah, he forgot he had to put one back.
Okay, so he has an ice for R&D, which he's probably quite pleased about.
Yeah.
So it'll be a draw, which I believe is a Mamba Temple.
Yeah.
3 Mamba Temple really is horrible. The moment you see 3 of them, you just realize it's so horrible. The notion of trashing all of them, how much tempo you're going to lose.
Yes.
Sort of just give up on the money game.
He just leaves it.
Well, he doesn't have the money to trash it, but even if he did, he probably wouldn't.
He just gains 3 clicks.
3 credits. And I think he's preparing to do the levy pretty soon.
Yes.
Must be.
I think he's very close to his last cards of his deck.
Oddly enough, we still haven't seen an account siphon.
Yes.
Either in the heap or...
That is surprising, actually.
I mean, in case you needed any further proof, there's a class proof there. Okay, there's that diversified for 12 credits. I think 11 credits, yeah.
Gain 11. Net gain 11.
Certainly give up on trying to keep his economy down at this point then. And in turns. Jackson returns. The interns, of course, draws any extra card. Yes, it doesn't install the card in any zero.
So you can see this board state has snowballed in favour of Luke at the moment.
I think it should be noted that despite some early game economy, I think Chris really has been missing. I've seen him lose at least 2 liberated accounts and a number of other.
Yes.
So, at
the
least,
Queen's Gambit's
yeah,
coming
the
through.
Queen's Gambit's at least 1 day job hit the heat. So
that's why it's sometimes nice to include cards like Inject in decks like this, where you just want to make sure less of your cards go to the heat, more go into your hand.
Too bad. This is a really, really, really miserable state to be in as the runner, where you realize it's actually just a matter of time. You know there was a Sansan on the table. You know it's just a matter of time before Indians start scoring. If you don't get rid of that Jackson, if you don't get rid of that Sansan, well, it's just going to keep happening.
My memory is correct too. He actually has 3 Sansans on the board.
And with the, of course, with the team sponsorships on the table, almost no point trying to contest them.
I'm trying to remind him about his number 2 ball at this point. He doesn't even care.
No,
he's got so much
he's
money.
at the stage where he's got so much money, it's hardly relevant. All the same, he does end up using his number credits. Amusingly, he hasn't actually rizzed his 3rd number 10 ball because we saw it earlier.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Ah, right.
I was trying to remind him about it, he just didn't even care. So he scores a breaking news here.
I see.
Which is quite nice considering the same thing is on the table.
Yep. Yep, okay, so install Jackson. Yes. Draw some card for any edge. I think I saw Tofu. There we go. Yep. Okay. Last click. Install these device on HP. Okay.
So he does not trash the same.
I was going to say, at this juncture, assuming I was, there we go,
There's
that's
an
an account
account
siphon and a day job.
I was quite confused to see him
considering that,
not trash the
as far as I
thing.
can see, there's at least 2 day jobs, a same old, and Levy in the bin, so yeah, I would have been tempted to do so there.
Still easier and gain some money the hard way. This is the number temple for real money.
Yep. At this stage, Chris is not trashing the Sands City grid. It might seem interesting considering, well, isn't he basically forfeiting the game if he's allowing that Sand to remain active? It's hard to say in this same situation. I don't know if I would end up trashing, considering he has absolutely no source of incoming economy, and I would very much be making the assumption at this stage as well, there's likely at least one other San on the board, and with how much money Luke has.
And there's the third Astro.
There we go.
So it's... yeah, I mean, you actually see Luke make a lot of misplays here. He's didn't trash the same old thing. That's possibly not a misplay, but some of his things where he's not raising the number temples, even though Chris knows it's there. He's just managed to sort of swarm into this board state where it doesn't matter exactly if
yeah, exactly. Well, once you've got this many cards on the board and actually 3 ice on his 2 key central servers. Jackson and okay.
So loses both of these cards as well, and one of those is the Apocalypse.
Okay, secret gone.
He must be missing that.
Yeah. Because now he knows he really can't afford to use that same old for... Well, he literally can't use the same old for a Apocalypse. But,
yes.
Yeah, but he simply can't play it. Also,
even playing the Levy here is going to slow him down a lot.
And really, there's no chance he's going to be able to do that, considering he knows there's a Tolkien and ANRNZ, for instance, just doesn't have anywhere near the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So despite a really overwhelmingly strong start, he's now been doing a lot of clicking for credits. So I think he's preparing to just levy.
Strong start is what Max has got at, and in my experience, is similar to how I usually feel when I play Max. I get into this state where I haven't won at the start, and then I just get into I can't run anymore.
Right, yeah.
Especially on these sort of siphon style Max things.
Once the spam has really happened, there's no way you can keep up with trashing.
Keyhole and Eater are a nice combination because they're sort of, you only need the 2 cards, but they are actually both expensive cards, and they are less effective than a medium.
And this entire game, Chris didn't manage to get a siphon off, so
yes,
he's drastically poorer than he would.
Well, it looks like he only has the 1 siphon in the deck.
Really?
Yeah, which is low. Usually do at least 2.
So
he might have 1 in hand.
I would assume he's got 1 in hand. 3 influence for Levy, 3 for Apocalypse, 1 for the Yogg. 7 feels like perfect to get to 15 would be 2 siphons. Really not a fan of 1 siphon in any deck. Paying 4 influence for a card you don't know if you can receive. That's really dependent on being found early.
The Yogg is an interesting include.
Yeah, it is.
I assume it's in case someone decides to put a cherry on the central. Oh, and there we go.
Okay,
yes,
indeed.
Count siphon for the end.
I think it was game 3 and actually he played a count siphon.
Oh, he's played it. No, yes.
Yes, he is. He is.
He's in Talbot.
Oh, boy. I feel like he probably wants to jack out at this stage. No, he is going to continue.
Assassin.
Ugh.
That is nasty. You can break 1 subroutine. Makes them both fire.
Yeah. He's going to take the damage.
It's risky when there's everything.
Well, fortunately he still has
same old thing.
Ah, David. Yeah, I bet he's regretting the fact that he didn't insult David now.
Yes.
Trace 4 for the trash program. And
Fire.
just going to with a fire. I just don't think he can afford to pay for it. And is he going to continue?
This program really trash. Oh, he's just looking at the ice.
Yeah.
I feel like the best hit would be easier. But
Yeah.
if it's a wraparound, then
Of course, if it's a wraparound, then Kuroda's unquestionably the best option.
You in the background. So he's the leader.
Okay.
Archangel
Yeah.
doesn't actually end the run.
Nope.
And looks very low on credits now, which shows when an overwhelming wood stack can change pretty fast.
But of course, with so many unrest things on the table, it seems very likely he'll be able to rest.
Bounce the same thing back to hand, and it seems like an odd choice to me.
I feel I probably would have bounced back the keyhole. Or
Yeah. Arguably, the keyhole is probably a dead card now. So maybe you would bounce back the Kuroda just because it costs some credits to install. So against the money from the council.
And Luke didn't res anything.
Not even bothered because he can just hand it back. I feel like he probably would have res something if he just had remembered, but he hasn't bothered.
I think, as Luke said himself at this stage, he's largely playing on autopilot.
Yes.
Yeah,
in fact, I think he said that quite a few times. His decks are so good I don't even have to pilot them myself.
I didn't say it, guys.
He said that, not us.
I mean, I hate NBN, but hey, I'm the one that said it.
It's not quite true though. I played a casual game against someone, ran HQ, and they res, and it's like, oh, this isn't nice. And I think that's what happens when you try and play it on autopilot.
Yeah. Oh, I know, I want to use Jackson Howard to defend HQ.
I believe it was Ash, but yes.
Okay, so a new server. Just drawing in the card, and I think I see a field.
Yeah. There's a new game in the background.
So I think we finished playing.
Called a Beal, using an Astro token.
Yeah, interesting decision.
Hostile infrastructure. Maybe he noticed I think actually the reason he chose that wasn't because of the apocalypse, it was because there was the only 2 cards left in my cards.
And he's installing
pop-up over. And some commentary about how it's technically face down, but at 0 to raise it doesn't matter.
We're not dealing with Raina here. So.
Or Xanadu. So really forgotten what he installed. So that is Tombert.
Oh yeah.
2 real credits and it ends the run.
Same old thing, Levy. Okay.
Finally
done. Okay, please, Chris, please don't shuffle Olivia. Please don't.
Everyone always does.
Everyone always does. Okay. Is pay attention to the game, Mike.
Well, what's the space down card?
Oh, this one. Hopefully it's the Livy.
Doesn't not even matter.
Yeah, it didn't even matter. We're wondering what card he forgot. But of course it's irrelevant.
So yeah, going from 0 to 6 to 6-7. Luke wins the game.
Yep. I think. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think Luke would certainly attest to the fact that this is definitely one of those games where the power of the cards in the deck really, really do contribute to.
Yes. Max is one of those decks very hard to pilot. You have to be
Indeed, yeah. So as you noted, the technically illegal setting out the recursion pieces, nonetheless very understandable given
Yes.
that how difficult it is to pilot. You're basically making it easier for your opponent to track your recursion, but
Yes.
ultimately with all the complex decision trees you have yourself,
yes.
it's arguably necessary.
Yes.
Nonetheless, Chris takes his defeats good stride.
Yeah, so that one is one of those sorts of games where you. Yeah, one of those sorts of games where you just. Sometimes you lose because you're unlucky, sometimes you win because you're simply unlucky.
Yeah, and you just take those.
You have to take them because you'll get what some of one, some of the other.
Mm-hmm.
You don't deny someone because they got a lucky game.
Yep.
You just have to take it in stride. That said, I don't think this was terribly unlucky in Chris's respect. He did not get the
I guess it's
early.
hard to say. Chris certainly got some good accesses early, but
Yes.
he was also making the right plays by running early.
Yes.
But ultimately, not finding any money, not finding the Cyclones or Apocalypse really didn't help.
Yeah. I think probably only played about 3 or 4 money cards that entire game.
Indeed.
And yeah, I got the accounts up at the end, so maybe another one.
So, following this game, I believe it's going to be. Do you know who it is?
I think it's you and Chris.
Yeah, it might be. Okay, I guess we'll find out. Yeah.
Either that or it was you and Luke.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you for the next.